TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the United States withdraws one of its carrier strike groups from the Middle East despite Iran's continued intentions to launch an attack against Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts that he is doing everything in his power to return the hostages from Hamas captivity and to win the war. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian joins Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in calling on the Muslim world to unite for an armed jihad against Israel. Pessimism reigns among senior officials privy to ongoing negotiations between Israel via U.S., Egyptian, and Qatari mediation vis-à-vis the Islamist Hamas terror organization, as Washington is once again seeking to secure a breakthrough prior to the fast-approaching U.S. elections. Consequently, amid concerted efforts of disinformation by Hamas to pressure families of the hostages in the terror group's captivity, dozens have blocked a number of key roads in Tel Aviv, hoping to apply additional pressure on the government in Jerusalem that it may succumb to Hamas's demands.
Today, like another day, it doesn't matter day or night, weekdays or end of the weekdays, we are fighting, I am fighting for the release of the hostages, release of my son.
People are alive right here, right now, 60 kilometers away from here. They are alive, buried in some rat hole inside Gaza. We must take them out. This is the only thing that matters.
While Hamas disinformation receives tailwind from regime-run propaganda outlets of Qatar, Turkey, Russia, China, and Iran, among others, there is a concentrated effort to point at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a villain who doesn't care for the hostages, hoping it would further deepen Israel's internal political strife. Nevertheless, in spite of relentless pressure directed at the Israeli government and its first among equals, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized he is doing everything to return the hostages and to win the war.
I hear the anguish of the hostages' families. I hear the outcry of families who have lost what is dearest to them. My wife and I go to heart-rending meetings that are simply heartbreaking. I hear. I listen. I also do not judge. I am doing everything to return the hostages and to win the war.
Meanwhile, in the Gaza Strip, after several months in which the IDF's 162nd Division have been conducting precise intelligence-based operations in the Rafah area, the IDF has now officially announced that the Rafah Brigade of the Islamist Hamas terrorist organization has been dismantled. Moreover, according to the IDF spokesperson's unit, Israel's troops destroyed 80% of the underground tunnel routes located near and beneath the Philadelphia corridor, which connects between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. The IDF further pointed out that the 162nd Division's engineering forces and the Alom unit continue to locate and destroy underground tunnel routes and terrorist infrastructure in the area. Meanwhile, amid reports claiming that local Palestinian UNRWA workers were killed as a result of an IDF precision strike, which was conducted based on ISA intelligence on a compound that previously served as a school in the area of Nuseirat in the central part of the Gaza Strip, the IDF requested that the agency provide details and names of the workers in order to thoroughly review the claim. However, to date, no answers have been provided by UNRWA despite repeated requests, while in contrast, a number of Hamas terror operatives were confirmed to have been eliminated in the strike. Nevertheless, the United Nations, including a long list of totalitarian regimes, abruptly condemned Israel for the alleged killing of UNRWA workers. Meanwhile, at a Pentagon press briefing, Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder was asked as to Washington's reaction to the reports.
The bottom line is we believe that Israel has both a strategic and a moral imperative in terms of protecting civilians. I will also highlight, though, that there is culpability on the side of Hamas in terms of their techniques, and procedures of embedding their operations within civilian infrastructure to include schools, hospitals, mosques. We just recently saw, when they executed 6 hostages in their tunnel network underneath Gaza, the extensive amount of infrastructure, money, resources that they've spent on building this massive tunnel network, which is approximately the size of New York City. And instead of using those funds and using those resources to help the Palestinian people, they've instead created a tunnel network to conduct combat ops from. This is the challenge that Israel is up against. We do not want to see any civilians killed in this conflict, whether they be Palestinian or Israeli, and we'll continue to work towards that. This is why a ceasefire deal is absolutely essential now, and getting all of the hostages released immediately is so important, and we'll continue to work towards that.
General Ryder further announced the withdrawal of one of the U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups that has been deployed in the region to face off a potential Iranian attack against Israel and U.S. service members in the region.
Of note, following a period of dual carrier coverage by the Theodore Roosevelt CSG and the Abraham Lincoln CSG in the CENTCOM region, the Theodore Roosevelt has departed and begun its transit into the Indo-Pacific Command Area of Operations.
Asked whether the decision to withdraw the aircraft carrier was made in response to a new assessment vis-a-vis Iran's belligerent intentions, General Ryder said the following.
Iran has indicated that they want to retaliate against Israel, and so we're going to continue to take that threat very seriously, and we're going to continue to maintain a robust presence in the Central Command and European Command AORs. And so that's not going to change, and we're going to, again, maintain, as we always have, the ability to surge forces or capabilities anywhere in the world we need them, when we need them.
On another regional matter, Iraqi reports indicated that Washington had acquiesced to Baghdad's request to withdraw U.S. troops from Iraq within a time period of up to 2 years. General Ryder highlighted in response that the discussion between the two countries relates to an aspired transition from a U.S.-led international coalition, which fights the Islamic State, to bilateral U.S.-Iraqi military collaboration.
We have been discussing with our Iraqi partners what the transition from the global coalition in Iraq, what that transition would look like to an enduring bilateral security partnership between the U.S. and Iraq would look like. Again, we'll keep you fully informed when we have something to announce, but as of right now, I do not have any updates to provide.
It is important to highlight that chatter related to an American disengagement from Iraq has long been amplified as a cornerstone of Iran's foreign policy and grand strategy, spearheaded chiefly by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps of Iran, commonly referred to as the IRGC. And while Tehran, via its local proxies within an umbrella alliance dubbed Hashd-e-Sha'bi, continues to increase its influence over Baghdad at Washington's expense, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani, after signing a strategic cooperation accord with visiting Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian earlier this week, emphasized that Iraq rejects the use of its territory to launch any threats against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Al-Sudani did not, however, mention Iran's use of Iraq's sovereign airspace for launches of missiles toward Israel or anywhere else. Subsequently, early this morning, Iran's president visited the Iraqi city of Basra, where he called on the entire Muslim world to unite against Israel.
If all of U.S. Muslims, regardless of our various beliefs, fraternize together with Israel with its small population be capable of massacring Muslims on a daily basis,
It is interesting to know that the call by the Iranian president came less than a week after his Turkish counterpart, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, made a similar call for a Muslim jihad against Israel, deceitfully claiming that Israel was keen on conquering much of the Levant.
İsrail eğer bu şekilde devam ederse
If Israel will continue like this after occupying Ramallah, it will turn its eye to somewhere else. It will be the turn of other countries in the region, from Lebanon to Syria, and they will have their eyes on our soil between the Euphrates and Tigris. The new steps we have taken with Egypt and Syria are aimed at forming a line of solidarity against the growing threat of expansionism of Israel. All Islamic countries should also take a common stance against the Israeli occupation, which we do not know where it will stop.
ortak tavır takınmalıdır.
Despite those baseless claims, neither the leadership in the United States nor any European nation has voiced any condemnation of those blatant words of aggression. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Separately, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider prescribing a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.